Out of here, out of here. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is still a few minutes before 7, so we are just going to sit tight here for a little bit longer. Just want to make sure you all can hear me. Give me a thumbs up or a yes. Okay, great. So while we're waiting, if you can just put yourselves on mute, and then we'll get started right at 7 or a couple minutes after.
Aubrey, get in the tub now. What is up? That's why y'all need to learn to answer y'all phone. Now, I didn't answer him, did he back? Y'all know when it's an emergency. Someone get in that class. Yeah.
The parts that she did told me to draw, like gold and stuff.
For the class, because you didn't have that in you. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, outside. Yeah. So she just like, she'll give me points for that.
Check those mute button, guys.
But about
It's not off.
All right, guys, we're gonna get started in just a minute. So if you can please make sure you are muted because we have a big group with us today. So we want to make sure that everybody can hear well. You'll have opportunities to unmute yourself later on, but for right now, if we can make sure we're
It's 80.
class started, that would help.
I think it's 84.
Kelly, can you mute everybody because I'm trying to over here and can't do it.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
Some of
Okay, listen. What did you talk to your coach? What he said?
yeah, some of them will not mute.
What he say about you praying?
Guys, y'all need to mute your microphones. Some of you still are not on mute. All right.
I think we're about as good as we're gonna get for now. I'll work on muting to see if we can make that better for next time, but it is a few minutes after 7, so we can go ahead and get started. I am Dr. Kelly Burgess.
If I'm not mistaken, he
Hold
said,
on. We're going to have to stop. Felicia, I believe it's Felicia and James. Can y'all mute your microphones? There's one. All right, let's see if that works.
Okay.
I can't. Are you saying something to us?
Yes. Can
Because
you
I
hear
can't
me?
hear.
We can hear it. There you go. You need to mute. Good job.
Okay, and thumbs up if you can hear me. I see any thumbs up. Very good. Okay, so get some thumbs up. So as I said, I am Kelly Burgess. I am one instructor for some of you for this 602 version of spring 2020. And Dr. Neal, do you want to talk quickly?
Hi, I'm Dr. Neal, the other instructor. Dr. Burgess and I will be co-teaching this course together. And then we also have Dr. Bullis on somewhere in the mix.
Hey guys, this is Joe Bullis. I will be your clinical coach for MELS 602. I see a lot of familiar names. I feel like I've worked with 98% of you. Some are new, and we'll kind of go over that a little bit, but welcome back. Good to see you.
Very good.
So this is my second semester teaching with Gardner Webb. I've taught other universities in the past. This is my 20th year in public education in North Carolina. I had a couple years under my belt in New York before moving down this way. I started in public schools in North Carolina as a school counselor, and then got into school administration before going to district office as the accountability director, where I got to know Dr. Neal. Actually, that was the first time our paths crossed. And then I became the assistant superintendent in that school district for 4 or 5 years. And then I have taken a step to a larger school district. I currently work, my day job is in Rowan Salisbury schools as their accountability director. And I really enjoy the applied research I get to do. For those of you who work in districts without accountability director, I'm the district testing coordinator, but it's not the testing piece that I love the most. It's really getting my hands on the data from student assessments and all the other data sources I have access to, surveys, personnel, HR, finance, and aggregating that to do some really helpful applied research that might have my students, driven by students and teachers and school leaders. Hopefully we can get to know each other and do some good research talk together. Dr. Neal or Dr. Bullis, do you want to tell a little bit about yourselves?
Let me see if we can get James to mute. James, can you mute your microphone?
There we go.
There we go. Okay. And Dr. Burgess, have you hit record yet?
Yes.
Okay, very good. All right, and I'm Dr. Neal, and I have been teaching as an adjunct with Gardner Webb for
Well,
many
actually,
years.
Dr. Neal, it didn't let me record because it says I have to request it from the meeting host. I think you're the host for this meeting. You
Well,
might
that's funny. That's what it says on mine too. Request per recording from the meeting host.
Okay.
Well, and we need to be sure this records.
All right, it says it's maybe it says it's recording. I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, all righty. You think it's recording?
The recording is showing up on my computer. It says,
Okay. Thank you, Veronica.
you're welcome.
All right, and so Dr. Burgess and I have revamped the 602 class a little bit from the old courses. We have a new textbook and hopefully activities and information that's more relevant than from the old course, but the artifact is still the same, and that has not changed. It is still the APTL that you will progress through, some of you, and you know, we're excited to work together. Dr. Burgess and Dr. Bullis and I, we are all a team here to help support you in every way that we can. And you're free to ask any of us any questions, and hopefully we'll all give you the same answers. If not, we will check with each other. And I'll let Dr. Bullis talk and introduce himself for those who don't know him as well.
Hey, thank you, Dr. Neal and Dr. Burgess. Once again, my name is Joe Bullis. This is my 13th year as an adjunct professor for Gardner Webb, 26 year in education and all. Currently, I'm also the federal programs director, middle school director, cultural arts director, and over Christmas, I got a couple of Christmas presents from the superintendent. I'm now the athletic director and the safety director for Wilkes County Schools. So, and it's a great thing. I've been blessed through my career to have a lot of different experiences, and that helps me relate to a lot of people in the different roles that they may go into. So anyway, once again, I'm glad to be back. Glad to see all of you. I'm here to help. Just let me know what you need.
Thank you, Dr. Bullis. So let's talk first by making it clear that there are two different types of folks in this class. There are those who are continuing through the program and getting their full master's. They have only taken 601 and have only done the first artifact and are on to doing the second artifact. There's a group of you that have finished all of the artifacts, have added on the licensure, and are now taking the course so that you can complete a full master's degree. And so that makes two different groups of folks with different types of expectations when it comes to the artifacts. If you are one who has already gone through Gardner-Webb, completed all 6 evidences, you are not required to do that component for this course. You are only required to do the actual course work that involves the class discussions and activities for the week, but you are not required to do the evidence. You do not have to pull out your old evidence and post it. You don't have to repost it. Your points will be graded on a different scale than those who have to complete the artifacts. So sometimes when we talk about the artifacts, you guys who've already completed it can not just only tune out, but you can maybe offer some help and support to those who are working on it. And Dr. Bullis is here as the clinical coach too, to help with supporting you with artifact completion. So when we talk about the APTIL, if you have already done it, you have gone through, you have your licensure, you've completed all of those components, the discussions do not apply to you. So if there's any question about that, just let us know, but you're in kind of a different category.
If you are in that category, could you send an email to the professor to which you are assigned? I just want to make sure I have that list so I'm not nagging you for work that you don't need to submit. And in addition to not needing to submit that APTIL evidence, and Dr. Neal, correct me if I'm wrong, and Dr. Bullis, but you also do not need to participate in the peer reviews.
That is correct.
If you still are working, if you're working during this semester on the APTIL, you will do peer reviews.
So we do want you to, so today, some of you may have noticed that you were dropped from one section and added to another. What happened is they were just trying to balance out the sections a little bit. So everybody's still in the same class. The course did not change, just your section may have changed. The requirements are all still there. Nothing is different. All of the course shells are identical and the grades and expectations are the same. They just had to even out the sections a little bit. So that's what happened today. And
the text is the same. I got some anxious emails about, because since most of you have already purchased the text is also the same.
Yes. Also, I know that some of you are trying to chat with us and send some chats over Zoom. We can't really look at those until the end, but we'll try to go back through and answer any questions. We also just want you to pipe up and ask as we go through this if there are any things that we need to clarify.
And if I may go back to one of the things, for those students who have already gone through Gardner-Webb and are just in MELS 602 for course content, any schedule that you see that says Clinical Coach 2 Zoom session, you do not have to attend those. Now, with that being said, I'll help anybody anytime that I can or whatever. So if you need some help, feel free to reach out to me. But the Zoom sessions will just be for those candidates going through the APTIL and needing to accomplish that in the DRF, and also the task stream for the competency folio and so on and so forth. So if you are one of those, as I said, who is just here for the course content, you will not need to attend any of those clinical coach Zoom sessions.
All right, so my question is, how will we know to which professor we are assigned? I'm assuming our section on our shell will change. If it does not change, then we are in the same, we're under, so how do
Yes.
we know, for example, for sure which,
It's whatever's listed on your course shell.
okay,
within Blackboard.
okay, thank you.
And also when you go under your schedule through Web Connect.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So what we're going to do is talk a little bit about the expectations and the layout of the class. As you can see, I'm not sure what y'all can see.
We can
actually,
see
but-
your screen. We see the weekly schedule. And if
Okay.
you haven't already, I encourage you to print out this weekly schedule. Although you will notice it is a Google Doc. So if we get really ahead or behind schedule, some of this may change slightly. So the link on the Blackboard site and the toolbar where it says weekly schedule will always be up to date. I don't anticipate needing to change it much. So if you print this off, you will, it'll help you keep pace with the coursework and the assignments due.
And so this is your roadmap to the course. And Dr. Burgess and I have laid it out as clearly as we can. I'm sure we've made some mistakes or we'll need to go back and could be some things that we've missed, but we've tried to do the best we can to outline specifically, starting with what the class discussion is on the evening of the class, what activity you will complete for that week, and what evidence work is due. So if you look at January 13th tonight, you will see all of those activities for the week, and all of those are due by the next class on January the 20th. And it goes in that order. There's, I'm sure, some questions about due dates. So right now there's no penalty for late assignments at this point, but these are good target dates for you to have these assignments completed. If you get too far behind, you'll get to a point where you won't be able to get caught up. But if something should come up and you're going to be behind a week or two, let us know and it's not going to be a problem. But this is just a good pace. And then our discussions with Zoom sessions each week will coincide with what is listed on here and with your activities and assignments.
And along with Dr. Neal's caution to don't get too far behind, I'd also like to caution you not to get too far ahead, because this work and the instruction in research really builds on itself. And I'm afraid if you do an assignment that's at the end of the course, you will need to go back and revise it because of the information we'll be sharing and discussing as we go. So you can get a little further ahead, a little further behind, and we'll be just fine. But this is the recommended pace for the course.
And right now, I believe we have the first 3 weeks on Blackboard open and ready for you to submit and do the work. And we will gradually open the other weeks as we go, but this outline will let you know what is coming. There are no surprises under each week. We just don't want folks to try to speed through a bunch of assignments and not gain the knowledge and information from the coursework that's important.
I do want to point out, Dr. Neal, could you scroll down a little bit?
Yes.
So there, on week 4, the assignment due week 4 is to read chapter 7, which is called Choosing a Research Design. There's PowerPoints to review, and you have to answer activity question number 2 on page 218 in this text. And you have to do the activity in 1 page, and that's to submit a research design. And we'll give more information as that week approaches. But I wanted you to know that that 1-page activity will evolve as we go through the course and will be resubmitted at the end in the form of a 3- to 5-page draft research proposal. So you'll be adding to it and fleshing it out with the ideas that we do in weeks 5 through the end.
We want to talk a little bit to clarify about turnaround times for assignments. Dr. Burgess and I will check Blackboard once or twice a week, and we will grade assignments before the due date, possibly just the Sunday before they are due. We probably will not grade assignments done too far ahead. And so if you submit something tonight or tomorrow night, expect it to be graded before the next class session, but it doesn't mean that it's going to be graded immediately. We will check it once or twice a week, and then we will try to respond to emails within 24 to 48 hours as well. So just to be patient, there are a lot of you, and Dr. Burgess and I do have our other jobs as well as Dr. Bullis, and we try to balance it all, but we're here to support you. Just don't expect immediate turnaround.
But if you have questions about the assignments, don't hesitate to reach out via email. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. Someone asked about the quizzes. I noticed that pop up. The first couple chapters, since it's that foundational reading and understanding, there are quizzes to check for understanding. The quizzes are set up to give you 2 chances. So if you're not happy with your first go round, you can just take it again, and the highest of the 2 scores will be recorded in the grade book. If you're still not happy after 2 tries, just email Dr. Neal or myself, whoever your professor of record is, and we can reset that for you.
All right. Peer review groups. I know that a lot of folks are anxious because some folks got mixed up when they redid the sections today, that maybe your peers are not in your same section. But Dr. Burgess and I talked about this earlier, and we want you to be able to continue to keep your same peer review group. So if your other folks in your group are not in your section, you won't be able to post it to the discussion board for your peers to pull it to review. You'll just need to email them. It doesn't matter to Dr. Burgess and I who your peer review groups are. What will matter is you posting your peer review to the assignment in your specific Blackboard shell. So you are allowed to stay with your same group that you had in 601. You will just have to be more responsible with sharing each other's papers, and then you will post the actual peer review to your class Blackboard shell. Does that clarify that? Does anybody have any questions about that? Yeah. Okay. Very good. Dr. Bullis, do you want to talk some about the APTIL?
Yeah, as you move into 602 and the APTIL, basically what the APTIL is the same thing as the APSIL was, but instead of doing a needs assessment and engaging in some best practices based on data to have an effect on student learning, you're doing the same thing with teacher empowerment. So about being an administrator, the number one stakeholder that you need to really think about and engage in as an administrator are your students. The second stakeholder, and you know, some would argue that parents are certainly a part of that, but the second stakeholder is your teachers. How are you going to engage your teachers? Give them the ability to be autonomous, to share in some decision making, and so that's basically what the APTIL is built on. I will be going over task 1 and 2 kind of more detail and some review as we move forward. And it's a little bit different than 601. As you progress through the program, We kind of believe in the gradual release of responsibility model. So my job is to work myself out of the job, is to where 601 give you all the support you need to get some of those initial routines and procedures down. 602, I back off a little bit more. 603, I back off a little bit more, so on and so forth, to where 605, you shouldn't need me. Now, I'm always going to be there. Regardless of my schedule and what I have posted for this class, I'm always, as I told you last semester, I'm always available for an individual Zoom session, or always available to schedule a individual Zoom session or a small group session with your peer review group as needed as we go through the process. I'll be happy to go into a little bit more at the APTL, task 1 and task 2 if you want me to, or we can kind of hold off on that as well. I don't want to take the majority of the time, seeing as this is kind of a intro initial first class.
There's also, Dr. Bullis, in their course shell, the template that was provided by Dr. Lamb. So they do have access to that in Blackboard. Are you good with them still using that kind of as a outline?
Yes, absolutely. And that's fine. Just kind of go through that and look at your tasks. Like I said, I'll be happy to go to the APTL in more detail. If you've had me in the past as a clinical coach, you know, I like to pull up task stream. I like to look at the rubric, and that's the thing you need to really go by is pull up the scale handbook and look at the prompts for those individual tasks, and then go to the rubric at the bottom and look at that proficiency column into accomplished. You know, should always want to hit for the accomplished, but you know, the proficiency is what you need to get to move through the program. And make sure as you go through your tasks that you are hitting those bullets in that rubric under the proficiency column. That's the, if you do that when you start your writing and start scheduling your activities, and then as you do that, as you wrap up your writing and measure what you've got against what that rubric says, then you should be in good shape. You should be in good shape. As you know, and I don't know if Dr. Neal or Dr. Burgess was going to hit on this, but as you may know, there's a new addition to the APA. So you may hear, if you've got some friends or colleagues who are just starting the program in MELS 601, MELS 601 is going to be doing their writing based on the 6th edition to APA, excuse me, 7th edition to APA. You will still write as you always have. There's been some significant changes between the 6th and 7th edition that, you know, if you hear, like I said, you got a colleague or a friend who's starting the program, you're going to hear about some of those significant changes, but you still write according to how you've always written in APA 6th edition. I don't know if Dr. Neal or Dr. Burgess had planned on addressing that, and if I did kind of jump ahead, I apologize on that.
Good, I'm glad you talked about it.
No, you're good. Thank you for covering that. So Dr. Bullis is your go-to person for the evidence work. He will review everything. You will get your final type of feedback once you think it is ready for task stream. That's when you will post it to the class shell for us to grade. Some of you, and I know in 601, you were graded with just points taken off, 1 or 2 here or there for, you know, specific things, but Dr. Burgess and I are going to be grading those artifacts as you either get all of the points or none of the points. And what that really means is we're going to give you the opportunities to get it right and to do well. You'll get full credit for it. So don't expect a 92 or an 88 when it comes to the evidence artifact work. That is not how we see our role in grading it. We are going to get it to the point of where it's ready for task string and to hopefully be ready to pass with a 3 or a 4. And then you will just receive points accordingly, either 0 or 100 for completing the assignment. So I just wanted to clarify that because I know some of you might be used to from 601 previous instructors taking off, you know, little points here and there. All right, Dr. Burgess, do you want to review Bulldog 1? Because that will be their start to the APTIL with doing research.
Is that the
The
AP resources?
The library.
Yes. Do you have that link up? I think that is linked to the Blackboard site, I believe.
All right, can y'all see the Gardner Webb site? Or do I have to share it again?
No, we see.
No, we see it, Dr.
see it.
Neal.
Okay. All right, so that should be under your course and under library at the top. And this is your Bulldog 1 search.
And when we talk in the course, and as you think about that research design that you'll be submitting in week 4, and then getting other ideas for research proposal, when we talk about supporting your research design and your ideas with research, we don't mean people's opinions or your opinions or something published in a non-peer-reviewed educational magazine. Not that there's not value in those. However, we will be looking for peer-reviewed articles, and this Bulldog 1 search, it should be your go-to place. This is a great tool that Gardner Webb provides. It's pretty easy to navigate. If you have trouble, let us know. There's also media specialists at the college that you can reach out to in person, on the phone, via email, and they are very helpful to find any specific research, or if you have ideas in general, they can help narrow it down for this course or other courses moving forward.
And hopefully in 601, most of you were given a little overview about how to use it, but we wanted to make sure that everybody was aware about where it is on your Blackboard shell, that it's under library, and that this is your search engine to find those peer-reviewed journals. And you'll be reading a little bit more about the importance of that as you go through the text, and we talk about that. All right, city certification, some information went out about that as well to folks. Does anybody have any questions about that? If you, I know I had one person email me that they had completed the city certification when they were working on their licensure. And I said just to submit that certification if you've already done it, and just resubmit the same certificate. But otherwise, everybody else should get started on that if you haven't already, and all of the directions to that I sent, and Dr. Burgess sent in an email.
I did not receive that.
You did not receive the email?
I did not receive the email, so I was going to ask you for an overview. I don't know anything about it.
Well, it's also in the Blackboard shell, so you can look there.
Okay.
In the course shell. Let's
I
see.
also did not receive that.
Okay, and that may be because if you were added after we sent that out, right around Christmas, some folks weren't registered until then. But it is all right here under week 1, the city IRB certification. This link will direct you exactly where to go. Well, hopefully.
Okay. if you click on the external URL or copy and paste that into the browser, that ought to get you there.
Yeah. But you should be able to get into it. Here we go. And this gives you the outline about how to get started with city learner instructions. And if you are a School of Education graduate student, how you affiliate yourself and which one that you take. So be sure to read these directions carefully. Then once you complete it, you'll receive a certificate, and you will upload a picture of that certificate to the Blackboard shell.
I believe the assignment to upload that certificate is in week 2 of the course shell.
Let's go back.
That's something you can work on through week 1 and week 2, and even if you need beyond, you'll just be able to find that assignment.
Yeah, right here under week 2. The completion certificate is where you'll upload it.
Just curious, what is that? What's the purpose behind it? Like I did the add-on licensure, and I don't ever remember hearing that term or city certification. What is it?
So the city certification is a course that teaches researchers how to do research in an ethical manner.
And it's required by the university for this course that everybody complete it. It's primarily for anyone who's going to conduct research, but it's important that you're aware of the ethics behind all research, and that's what the certification is about.
And the course itself, that's a good question. The course itself is a series of readings. They have some I think they've added hopefully more multimedia pieces than they had several years ago when I went through it. But you do some reading, some learning, and then you'll have to take a series of quizzes in order to progress through and be able to be granted that certificate.
It does take some time. It's not quick. So do pace yourself a little bit and go ahead and get started if you haven't already.
Can you start the process?
Yes, you should start the process.
No, I said, can you stop and start the process?
Oh, yes.
Or do you have to just sit and finish it in one sitting?
It's just modules. They're just 16 modules that you work through at your own pace.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
So it's definitely something that I'd recommend chipping away at. It's pretty intense and rigorous and can be very dry. So scheduling a bit of time here and there.
Started. I was afraid if I clicked on the link, I might not be able to come back out. So thank you for that overview. That was very helpful.
Also, very important that everyone complete the enrollment verification activity. It is under the course overview. All of this is not viewable to you, but it's here highlighted in red. That will ensure that you are counted as present in this course and that you will not be dropped. So I would do that tonight or do it right now so that you will not lose the credit and not be dropped from the class when it comes.
It's just a couple clicks. If you haven't done it before, it will take you less than a minute.
Yes.
So between now and next Monday, it's recommended to start that city certification. Notice we don't expect you to complete it in less than a week, but start that. Complete that enrollment verification activity. Read chapters 1 and 2, review those PowerPoints, and answer the review questions that are in the form of a quiz on the Blackboard site.
Somebody's driving with their turn signal on.
I have a quick question in regards to reading chapters 1 and 2. Is that just the PowerPoints that you posted, or is that actually from the text?
That's reading the text.
Okay.
And make sure, let me hold up the book so that everybody is sure that they have the correct text, because this is a new book. But this is it.
And that's the only book that I understand in previous courses. There were 2 texts, the research methods for education is the only text required for this course.
Yes. So yes, you need to read the chapters and review the PowerPoints. The PowerPoints are not too long, so hopefully it won't take you.
I have a question.
Sure.
Ordered the books, and when I went into the bookstore, it still had 2 books listed, and that was not one of them. What do I need to do? Because I'm in South Carolina, and my books are supposed to arrive tomorrow. How do we handle that?
Same
You'll
thing
need to-
here. That happened to me as well.
Yeah, that was not the text that was listed for the class.
I apologize. We'll have to let Dr. Lamb know about that so he can work with the bookstore to get that fixed. The text and the authors are listed in the Blackboard site, and that's the correct information. In the meantime, while you're waiting for the book to arrive, just review those PowerPoints in depth. You can take a pass at the quiz. If you're not happy with your score first time around, that's something you can go back and do later once you have that text, so you can read those chapters. But you'll be able to keep up with the discussion, I hope, or at least have a framework for it by reviewing those PowerPoints in the meantime. And those PowerPoints are posted to the Blackboard site.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. We're sorry. The text was adopted last semester, and it all went through the bookstore. So I hate that they did not clarify that and get that straightened out.
Will you real quick share the correct title and author just to as a double check?
It's right here in the course shell under course text. Can
So
you
it's
guys
called-
see that?
I can't see your screen anymore.
I can't see it. Yeah, sometimes this thing is clicking off and
While Dr. Neal's pulling that up, it's called Research Methods for Education by Gregory Privatera.
here we go.
And while you're looking at that, I ordered mine from Amazon, and I think it took 2 to 3 days max. So,
Okay. Gotta love Amazon.
oh yeah. Also, you can rent from Amazon, but since I never returned mine, I just stopped doing that. I started.
I had the same problem. And I like my textbooks, especially the ones on research, because I'm very research minded.
All right, can you see that
And
now?
there it is.
All right, so it's in your course shell over here on the left side. It says course text, and that has the ISBN numbers as well. So if there are any difficulties with the text, just contact the bookstore and let them know, and we'll also let Dr. Lamb know.
So there's 2 listed there. So you're saying we still only need 1 book, correct?
No, this is just one text.
There's 2 different types of ISBN numbers. That's
Yes.
just the way they're cataloged, but it's the same book. If you search
Simple.
for either of those ISBN numbers, it will take you to Research Methods for Education book.
Okay. What other questions can we answer and clarify for you folks?
Do we need to do the Blackboard modules that's on the page? If so, how do we get it to connect?
The Blackboard modules.
On the shell, that's the Blackboard modules. It looked like the same ones we did last semester in 601, but
Under the course overview page, no, you do not need to do that. Those are for reference in case you need them.
okay, just making sure.
Yes, that's
Unless
just
you want to in your free time, you can do them again. But no, that's not
Free
required.
time, you got jokes.
And also remember under course 1 or week 1 here, the course introduction is your scale handbook. And that again is where all of the artifacts are listed and all of the rubrics. So be sure that you have that saved somewhere. It's good reference for every class that you take.
What is the requirement and overall interaction of the weekly Zoom sessions?
Well, we can't technically we ask that you join us as you can. We will post recordings to the Zoom sessions if you missed them. You're not required to log on with us every week, but you are required if you're not going to log on to review the Zoom sessions so that you are sure that you get the information that is shared.
You will find that the weekly assignments will be much easier to complete, especially as we progress through the course, if you attend or watch the Zoom meetings.
Yes.
And that's the same with me, guys. You know, when we have the clinical coach Zoom session, understand, you know, coaching, life, whatever, you may not attend, but I will always post a recording of those Zoom sessions. If not that evening, certainly the following morning. And I'm in my Blackboard shell, which you should still have access to if you're one of my interns. I post all those recordings in the video library too, and go back and look at those. It's worth the time to go back and look at those recordings, because it's easy for us to tell when somebody didn't attend the class or watch the recording, especially with some of the questions we get. And it's obvious that someone didn't do either one. Really puts you behind when you have to do that, and it really takes up unnecessary time that you could be spent progressing through the course, and that we could spend helping someone else. So just be sure that you take the time to do that. It's worth your time to do it.
And we'll do our best to get this posted this evening or tomorrow morning, but I did just try to create my first YouTube channel, and that's linked to the top of the weekly assignments. If I have trouble, I'm going to go home and have my 12-year-old daughter help me. So hopefully one way or another we'll get this posted within 24 hours, but that's where you'll be able to find our recordings, hopefully. If not, we'll let you know where we'll put them.
All right, any other questions? Because I know there are lots of folks out there want to make sure you get your questions answered if there's anything pressing.
I just have one more quick question in regards to the co-teaching. So while we're dealing with the person that's within our shell, is there anything that's ever going to be addressed from one of you to all of us? And if so, will that always be through email, or how is that going to work with these sessions and then the follow-up in said show?
Dr. Burgess and I will be co-teaching. Some weeks it may just be one or the other of us on, but we'll both be following the exact same course outline, and we'll be doing the Zoom sessions together unless there's a conflict and only one of us can be there. But if you have a specific question about the course, you can email the instructor that you are assigned to.
And the instructor that you are assigned to will be doing the grading, watching the progress through the Blackboard course, and doing any email correspondence. Dr. Neal and I will be on the same page as far as planning and communication, but just for ease of navigation and so that every student only has one professor to work with and one instructor to work with, you can just communicate via email to the professor you're assigned to.
Does that help, Scott? Okay. Very good. Any other questions out there? Don't be afraid to ask.
I'm curious, has anyone done the city certification yet? I'd like to know roughly how long that's going to take just to plan my week.
There are a couple people that have submitted their certificates yet, so I know there are some out there that have. Scott, you raised your hand. I'm trying to see.
I have. And honestly, it really took me probably 6 hours, 7 hours.
Okay.
And that,
thanks for that.
Like continuously, but it does take quite a bit of time.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. I would recommend doing just a little bit at a time, just to get through it.
Yes.
Not try to sit down and ruin your whole, take your whole Saturday doing it. but do try to get it done. And like I said, the due dates are not hard and fast, but they're target dates. So if in a couple of weeks you still haven't done it, don't get too far behind, but there's a little wiggle room in there.
And there are 17 modules total. So if you want to set a target for yourself, that can help you pace it through.
Question. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I started the certification, but I got caught up in did everyone get the 5-question part where it was like ask you questions? Then it didn't have for question 3, it didn't have a place where I could put no, I'm not doing any animal research. So do I like skip that question, or am I receiving these questions that I shouldn't have? And this is for the, let's see, what part is this? This is the laboratory animal research for the select curriculum. Because it won't let me add the course without answering these 5 questions. But question 3, there's like no place to click no. So I didn't know what other people, I don't know.
Can anybody help her? Because we don't go through.
Yeah, Centralis actually talked about this, and I'm going to try to address it. If you're not doing animal laboratory research, which none of you should be, you can just move past that. You don't,
Okay.
you don't
Yeah,
have
just skip
don't
it.
have to feel that.
Skip it.
Yeah, just skip
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
please don't do laboratory animal research. If you feel the need to, reach out to one of us.
Yeah, Hannah said she just did the registration and you can skip it.
Good deal.
All right, any other questions? These are good things to clarify because that city certification can be a little overwhelming. I don't see any other chats.
And as you move into task 1, if you have questions, just reach out to me via email as you start doing the research and pulling in those best practices. And we'll take care of it one-on-one, but feel free to contact me anytime as you start that. I know some other stuff you need to take care of and get rolling on this. So I just wanted to let you know, reach out to me if I can help.
Everyone should be sure that they check their internship shell. If you're doing the artifact, you should have that, and that's what Dr. Bullis has access to. So as a review, just remember that you need to email your instructor, whoever you are assigned to, some contact information, just a little of who you are and whether or not you are completing the evidence this semester. If you are just completing the coursework to finish up the master's, let us know that. If you are expected to complete the APTEL, please let us know that as well. So please email us and we'll make note of it. Then if I haven't heard from you or Dr. Burgess hasn't heard from you, we will email you back out for that information.
And Dr. Neal and Dr. Burgess, if I could also get a copy of that email, that way I won't reach out to somebody that I don't need to just by accident. So that way I'll know who needs help with the APTEL and then who doesn't. Thank you.
We'll make a list for you from our courses.
Thank you.
Sure. Another chat. Let's see. Add-on required to complete. Yes, if you are doing the add-on, you are required to complete the city certification as well. Everybody's required. The only folks who aren't required to do the city is if you have already completed it in the past couple of years. All right, any other burning questions? Now's a great time to ask. All right, well, if you don't want to speak up tonight, then send us an email and we will be back on next Monday at 7 p.m. To review chapters 1 and 2.
Can't wait to talk about scientific thinking and generating testable ideas. It'll be great.
Yay. This will be fun. I know the content seems a little boring, but we're excited about it. We'll think that you'll enjoy this text and hopefully get some good information from it. That will also help you as you're doing research for the APTEL this semester.
And during the Zoom meetings, I really want to talk about ways that we can take this research methods and statistics and make it relevant and meaningful to the work you're doing today and in the future. So I look forward to the conversations we can have during these Zoom meetings, making this practical for you.
Yes. So be sure to email us. And if you have any questions also about the peer review in your group, email those questions to us as well. Dr. Bullis, thank you for joining us tonight. And Dr. Bullis will have, he's given out, have you posted your Zoom sessions on your shell?
Yeah, I have under schedule. I believe it is. It's posted. Actually, I'm doing 2 cohorts of 601, 2 cohorts of 602, which is of course this class, and a cohort of 605. And I know in the past, if you haven't in the past, I just emailed you the link to the Zoom session, you know, about 10, 15 minutes before the session. I'm gonna have the same Zoom link for each clinical coach Zoom session, regardless of what cohort it is. I've color coded the schedule. So for those of you who are in MELS 602, I think it's orange. Just go through and look for the oranges, and that'll the orange row, and that will tell you information about when and where and the topics as far as we're meeting. So hopefully that'll be a little more simple. If not, let me know. I haven't emailed that because my roster has been changing as well with some of the other different courses. And as they said earlier, I know they're kind of balancing out the sections. So once that's kind of finalized, I'm going to generate some contact lists for each cohort, and I'll just send you an email out. But as always, if you got a question until then, if you're not sure about anything, just reach out to me.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Bullis. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We look forward to working with you this semester. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to let us know. And we will finish this up and see you guys next Monday at 7. Bye. Thank you.
See you next week. All right, Dr. Neal, I'm going to stop the video.
Okay. And see if it.
Where does it go once it's?
Well, on my computer, it converts it. It kind of goes into this.
Within Zoom or on your desktop?
Kind of on my desktop, but I also think within Zoom.
Okay. I might have to get out of here and go to the Zoom website and play around, because it was recording, because when I checked, I stopped it and then started it again way early, so it was working. Just.
Hi, Amy Plunk. Are you still out there? She may be signing off. She's one of.
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Did you survive?
I am, but I'm ready to watch the
Oh, yes. Amy, Kelly, Amy is a teacher, 3rd grade teacher in my school.
Oh, excellent. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Amy will keep us straight on what we're missing and not explain.
Oh, good. Good. So we have an insider.
I'm sorry. Sorry for that now. Sorry for my questions now.
Oh, no.
No, don't apologize. I'm glad to have them.
No, it's thanks to you that we clarified some stuff before we got started with class tonight. So.
Well, it's going to be a great semester. I'm excited.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
good night.
All right. Bye, Amy. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
And I'm going to try to leave this meeting and see if I can get this recording
Okay.
figured out before I head home.
Okay, very good, Kelly.
All right, well, is everything all right with your mom?
Yeah, she's still in the hospital in Richmond, so we're trying to see how we can get her home. Because she's supposed to have surgery on Friday.
Oh, goodness.
No. So we shall see what happens.
Let's see. All right, well, I'll be thinking of you.
All right, thanks,
All right.
Kelly.
See you next
Take
time.
care.
Bye.
Bye.